Hey, welcome to Tarot by Brev. What we have today is another unboxing video, this time the Muse Tarot. See here, pretty sturdy looking box by Chris Ann, the Muse Tarot. Nice kind of shades and colouring in this, almost like an Art Deco-y kind of feel here with the shapes and the colours. We'll see if that replicates through the deck. By Hay House. They publish quite a few tarot. Normally pretty good standard. What we have here is expect magic, exploration and inspiration. Perfect, exactly what we're looking for. So infused with a wildly eclectic spirit, the Muse Tarot will illuminate your path towards inspiration and magic with its bright symbolism and powerful muse energy. The suits are recast as emotions, inspirations, voices and materials instead of cups, wands, swords and pentacles to deliver the message from the source of creation. So there's a guidebook inside and then by the sounds of it, other than the switch of the suits, a fairly traditionally built 78 card deck on following the classical traditions of tarot. But let's get into it and see what we find. So we've got this plastic wrapper on here, which again is quite thick, quite well protected. See, the box is in pretty good condition. We'll get that open. The Hay House ones generally come pretty well wrapped. If you're looking for a deck, this one, if you're going to buy it, is the one that's that big. So it's, what's that, nearly 8 centimeters wide and 13 centimeters along that way, and the depth of the box is 5 centimeters. So if you see this one and you're buying it online rather than in the flesh, that's the size of these particular cards. I know quite a lot of these will come in various sizes, so you can get the kind of mini ones, the standard ones and the big ones. This looks like it's more of a standardized size. Let's, as normal, see if I can get into the box without damaging it, which I'm very careful not to do because I like to keep my things nice and neat and tidy. There we go, we're in. Oh, that was satisfying. Nice, thick, decent cellophane. That nice squeaky sound as it comes off. Right, put all of that out to recycle. Get them scissors out of the way. So, the Muse Tarot. Here we go. So what have we got? Oh, little message on the inside of the box here. So there is magic in truth. There is truth in my veins, where my blood speaks in sooth. My mind has no reins. A little bit of poetry. I think it did promise that on the back. So we've got inside the box here, we've got a little guidebook. And then the cards themselves. And there's some fishies in the bottom. That looks like a nice, well presented box. Cards have got a little paper wrapper on it. I'll set those to one side for the minute. We'll start as normal with the guidebook. Yeah, good chunky box. And as normal, you know, it's good to see the attention to detail on the inside of the box. It's a good indication that the that attention to detail will follow through the rest of the deck. So just giving a quick flick through the guidebook. Doesn't look like it's really heavily illustrated, but there certainly seems like it's kind of packed with information. There are, how many pages? There are 112 pages. Obviously some of that's thank yous and acknowledgements. So yeah, looks like over 100 pages of insight and wisdom. So from a beginner point of view, if this was going to be your first deck and you were looking to invest in these, fairly substantial. You're going to get a good idea, hopefully, about what's going on. The writing here mirrors what's on the back of the box. We've already covered that. And a little bit about the artist and creator there. Seems like she's got a few other decks available as well. The Lightseers, one of my other favourite decks that I quite like, so that's all very promising. Let's get to the beginning. So what is the Muse? The Muse Tarot. This will be unorthodox, experimental, poetic and strange. All sounds very good. How to use this offbeat tarot deck. There are no rules. And then we have the major arcana with a little bit of description on each. So we've got the Fool, the Magician, the Priestess, all fairly standard cards. And then some keywords, as well as a little bit of writing. Okay. And then again, looks like some more, a little bit of poetry at the end. And that runs through for all of the major arcana, by the looks of it. And then the minors here, detailed descriptions of each one. So inspiration, emotions, voices, and materials. And then there's roughly a page and a half written on each of the cards. So just to go again, so emotions instead of cups, inspiration instead of wands, voices instead of swords, and materials instead of pentacles. So if we move on to the actual deck of cards itself, nice kind of feel to the deck. We've got this paper binder on there, which doesn't really slide around very easily. Anyway, as it does, it's okay. Nice and tight, holding all the cards secure. Got this sort of not too glossy a finish, kind of like a matte finish. So they feel quite smooth, feel quite comfortable in the hands. In terms of the size of the cards, individual cards themselves, so they're just under 7 centimetres by 12 centimetres, which is a good size, pretty standard for tarot, there or thereabouts. So let's see if I can take this off, keeping that little bit of binding in place so I can reuse it. Look at that. There we go. So that's kind of shiny. Hopefully they'll slide back in okay. We'll give that a go in a minute. And then let's start here with the cards. So that's the backing. So we've got the flowers. Very reminiscent now of the Lightseers deck, if anyone's familiar with that. Similar on the back of there. Cardstock itself feels pretty good. Let's have a look at the Fool. So, as you can see, reasonably thick. Good feel to it. Not too shiny. Like a little muted kind of colours in there. Good size rounded edges, which makes them kind of easier to hold and shuffle. And yeah, looking good. So let's have a quick flip through the cards and see what we can see. So the major arcana starts as always with the Fool. And we have the kind of twist on some of the classical imagery there. The Magician, got more of a modern feel. The Priestess, the Empress, and that I think is that the card off the front of the box? Yeah, there you go. And again, almost kind of little Art Deco-y kind of hint to it. The Emperor. Maybe this this idea of being muse and being inspirational and kind of bringing in kind of patterns, maybe kind of reminiscent of waves or musical sounds, different people in the background. All good things to kind of latch onto and allow your creative mind to find what it finds and make those connections that we know are so important. Here we have the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, the Wheel, Justice, the Hanged Muse. There we go. Kind of lots of symbolism on there. Death card, like that, with the above and below. This kind of circle implied here with the moth. Temperance. The Devil. The Tower. The Star. The Moon. The Sun. Awakening. Sometimes that's labelled as other things, but in here called the Awakening. Has the same sort of feel to it, as of getting some almost like a revelation. The World Cosmos, and then we start on the minor arcana. So that's the majors. Put those over to one side for a moment. Oop. So inspiration is Wands. So here we have the Ace of Inspiration. Again, some interesting symbolism, use of colours and shape to create this landscape for your imagination. There's the 2, 3. I'll do these dominoes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we have the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and the Muse of Inspiration. Okay, so I was wondering when we were going to get some male figures in this. It's very female dominant in terms of the inspiration for this card and the kind of the overall feeling. Very feminine. And instead of the King, we have the Muse of Inspiration. And a landscape rather than a portrait card. Okay. Then we move on to the Ace of Emotions, which would be the Cups in the standardized Rider-Waite style decks. So we have the Ace, and again watery feel. So they're bringing in that theme. Emotions, obviously normally considered water element, brings that side of things into it as well. So we've got the Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8, 9, and the 10. Now I'm noticing there was a bit of a come back to some similar symbolism being mirrored, I think, on some of the cards. When you get into the deck, you may notice, I think, some of the numbers have some sort of correlation between them, which is always good to see. And then we've got again the Page, continuing this water theme, the Knight, the Queen, and then again the Muse of Emotions, which is another landscape card. Carrying for all the themes of emotions and water, and obviously this more feminine feel to the cards, with the Knight just being represented by the animal and the motion of the movement. So then we have the Ace of Voices, which would be Swords in the traditional decks. So it's the ace, the 2, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Traditionally popular cards. 9, strong in symbolism, those 2, 3, and then the 10. Again with this kind of Art Deco inspiration to it. Then we have the Page of Voices. The Knight. The Queen. And then we get to the landscape card at the end, which is the Muse. Which is again bringing in the elements. Dance, motion, movement, colours, a little bit of a deco feel, very feminine. All of those inspirations coming into it, keeping the consistency good. And then finally we have the Ace of Materials, which would be the pentacles or the coins. So we have the Ace, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then the Page, the Knight, the Queen, and then finally the Muse of Materials. So nice and consistent in terms of the pictures, and if you're if you find inspiration in art and in movement, and you're in touch with your feminine side, this deck may resonate with you very strongly. There's some really nice colours. There's lots of symbolism kind of contained within, which you can use to help your creative mind and your intuitive process. So things like the upside down snails on the top. Some nice geometric designs. Kind of muted colours, which is nice. I wonder what they're going to be like to shuffle. Let's have a look. So they sit together quite nicely. Not too thick a deck. I'll say that decent card stock is pretty decent in your hands. And yeah, they shuffle very nicely. Now, as a brand new deck, sometimes the cards can be a little bit sticky, but I'm sure you noticed as I was going through that they weren't. None of the cards were stuck together. They haven't got that. Some of them have that sort of plasticky, resiny kind of feel where the cards are coated. These aren't coated. Still got a little bit of shine to them, but they're nice and smooth. They kind of slide pretty easily. So yeah, really nice, simple to shuffle. We have the Chariot. Let's all go indeed. Let's get going. So if we just try something else, let's just see what they're like. I know a lot of people like to kind of spread the deck out. I like to know how it's going to go that way, so that you can then come and select cards. And that kind of moved fairly easily. They're that sort of soft feel to them, so they will, again, probably to do with the feminine touch onto them. We have the Queen of Emotions. There she is, the Queen of Cups. So there we have it. That was the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. Alongside the guidebook. I should imagine if you're a beginner and you're looking for a deck that you can, slightly more modern looking deck than some of the traditional ones. If that sort of resonates a bit better with you, this will be a nice deck for you to get involved with. Are there any suggested spreads at the beginning? Sometimes I know these books like to come in and give you some ways to read. No, they haven't. So there we have it, the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them in the chat below. Please like and subscribe and look out for further videos coming soon. I'll be doing some more unboxing as well as some spreads. Thanks very much.